Welcome to another video from Guilao60. What does Michael Kovrig, Michael Spavor, Robert Schellenberg, and Fan Wei have in common? All Canadian citizens. Yes, you get E for effort on that. And number two, they're all in jail in China. Okay, Spavor and Kovrig, that's a different story, and we're not going to talk about that today. But what we are going to talk about is Robert Schellenberg and Fan Wei. Okay, Fan Wei is obviously a Chinese guy, and the Chinese aren't even sure whether that's his real name or not. I don't know how that worked out. But anyway, so Fan Wei and Robert Schellenberg have both been given the death sentence in China for drug trafficking, or dealing in drugs, manufacturing of drugs with the intent to sell drugs. Okay, so Robert Schellenberg, he was given a 15-year sentence back in, I think, 2012. Well, no, he was caught in 2012. He was given the sentence in 2014. And 4 years later, 4.5 years later, in 2019, early 2019, he appealed it. Smart. He's a brain surgeon just like Fan Wei. So you get caught in Canada selling drugs, and here there's really nobody they're going to slap you on the wrist. So what do? You go to a place like China where you can get the death sentence for it. And both Robert Schellenberg and Fan Wei have been given the death sentence. Fan Wei just last week. Okay, well, Fan Wei got caught with 1 American, 4 Mexicans. Wow, might as well keep it an international thing. Himself, his partner, so what's that? 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would leave, and 11 got caught. So that would leave another 4 Chinese. And Fan Wei and his Chinese buddy in Taishan, China. This is a place where I used to spend a lot of time. Taishan and Kaiping, Hoi Ping in their language, doing immigration consulting back in the day when I used to work. Cool, nice place. Dim sum is amazing, but it is a little bit of a rougher area, Guangdong province. So anyway, they got caught with 63 or 68 kilograms of methamphetamines and some other amphetamines that I don't even know what they are. So after the dust settled, his Chinese buddy and him that were the ringleaders got the death sentence, and the other 9 guys, 1 American, 4 Mexicans, and 4 Chinese, got life in prison. Life in prison in China. What would I pick? The death sentence or life in prison in China? Well, at least with life in prison in China, you've got a chance to get out sooner or later. Maybe somebody's going to say, we feel sorry for you, or something. Anyway, all of this transpired, the death sentences, after Trudeau became Prime Minister of Canada, or we'll call him Little Potato from now on, because everybody knows him as Little Potato in China and in the Western world now. See, being a diplomat, in politics, you have to be a diplomat when you're dealing with other countries, because other countries like China have their own law. And Little Potato keeps saying the rule of law, the rule of law. Chrystia Freeland saying the rule of law. Oh, and she says this is very disturbing that they would give him the death penalty. 63 kilograms of methamphetamine. You know how much methamphetamine that is? So how many families is this going to ruin? How many people are going to die from taking this? How many people are going to be addicted? How many, you know, so a couple of people get the death sentence for manufacturing, and that's what they were doing. They were manufacturing because Fan Wei and his Chinese buddy recruited the American, the Mexicans, and the other Chinese because they're the people that actually manufacture these drugs. So ringleaders and manufacturers, I guess. Probably the Chinese people had the place to do it. The American and the Mexicans knew what they were doing, either making it or exporting it into different countries or whatever. But just think the shit that would have brought on how many families wherever they were going to move these drugs to. So the moral of the story again is, if you're going to sell drugs, if you're going to manufacture drugs, if you're going to talk about drugs, don't do it. If you're from Canada now, watch your ass in China, because until they get rid of Little Potato, everything is different. How do I mean different? Okay, well, Robert Schellenberg was given 15 years. He appealed it just after the great Canadian government and all of their brainwave moves, and the Liberals are stupid. Meng Wanzhou, the CFO of Huawei Technologies, got snagged at the Vancouver airport. Before that, Schellenberg had 15 years. He appealed it. He got the death sentence. Fan Wei got caught with drugs. Before, they might have given him life in prison or 15 years like Schellenberg, but no, now they give him the death penalty. Why? Well, you know, if you're not going to be lenient with our citizens from China, why should we be lenient with your citizens from Canada? Not only that, see, Canada needs China. China doesn't need Canada. China is a big economic power in the world, and China is just a little potato's little potato. You know, so we've got, what, 30-some million people? They've got just coming up to 1.4 billion people. Just think the buying power. 40% of all of our canola from Canada. Yep, used to go to China. Now how much are they buying after Trudeau stuck his nose into their business? Exactly, none. They've cut back on peas, they've cut back on soya. They just cut back on two of the largest pork exporters to China and canceled their export license to China. Why? Because the Trudeau, the Little Potato's government from Canada tried to tell China what they should do and what they shouldn't do. Your human rights abuse is appalling. Well, okay, so we don't like drug dealers in our country, so we give them the death penalty, or we give them life imprisonment. We don't give them 5 years in the pen, you know. So this is appalling to you. We don't allow problem religions in, well, they don't like much religion in China to begin with, and that's another story. But if you think about it, all of the terrorism around the world has been based on religion. Islam, Christianity, they keep fighting back and forth, and there's some offshoots in there and stuff, but that's another story too. But the thing is that if the Trudeau government was like the Harper government before and used diplomacy when dealing with a country like China that is not going to listen to a Little Potato, they're going to do what they want to do. They have their own laws. They have their own regulations. They have their own outlook on life. They have their own outlook on how their country is, and is going to be in the future. And they're not going to listen to somebody like Little Potato saying, or Chrystia Freeland, his only female right-hand man left, woman left, because he fired the rest of them because they told the truth. They didn't let him push him around and tell him what to do as the Attorney General. And everybody's heard that story, so I'm not going to get into that either. Boy, there's a lot of stories I'm not getting into. Oh, what is that? This is probably why I go this way and then this way and this way. And it's been a while since my last video, and there's a reason for that. I had 3 videos all set up, ready to go. Then my computer died. So I sent it over to my computer genius, and he said, your hard drive crapped out. I says, can you save anything? He says, no, your hard drive crapped out. So I had to get it fixed and start over from scratch on everything. So that's the way it is. And Wei Feng and I have been traveling back and forth every day to Victoria, a couple hours there, a couple hours back, because he's got radiation going on right now. So it's, I've been busy. I've been really busy. So that's the reason we haven't put out, or I haven't put out anything for the last 4 weeks or so. But that's going to change. Got my computer back up and running. Although I'm still, for the next 4 weeks, going back and forth to Victoria, I do have the weekends off now. So hopefully I can get it together and make more videos. So anyway, back to what I was saying. You've got four Canadian guys in prison in China. 2 probably will get out in time. The other 2 probably will not get out in time. Don't deal drugs in China. Don't talk about drugs. Don't even think about doing drugs in China, because they have different laws than we do here in Canada, or in the States, or England, or Australia, New Zealand. All of these places that are considered sort of Western countries. But again, if you go to Singapore, if you go to Vietnam, if you go to Thailand, you go to Cambodia, you get caught doing drugs in Malaysia, Indonesia, any of these places, the death penalty does apply. So think about that when you're traveling around the world and doing stupid things. Just do the stupid things in the countries like Canada and the United States and New Zealand, whatever. Because these other countries, they are not forgiving. Anyway, that's another video from Greylow60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button, and thanks for watching. Bye now.